Hey there, folks. Welcome back to the channel, and welcome to a brand new weekly watch video. Basically, Monday through Friday, I watch a bunch of movies, and on the weekend, I film a video showing you guys what I watched. Before I start this, I just want to give a huge shout out to It's Dale Stark. Definitely go subscribe to him. I will put his link in the description. He does a lot of stuff on his channel, video games, free talk, which basically, he goes live. And he's also thinking of doing a series. Is kind of like a weekly watch, but it's more like a weekend watch where he does Friday through Sunday. He shows what kind of movies he watched. I don't know if he's going to do it every single weekend, but that's what he's thinking of starting. So definitely go subscribe to him. Definitely go give him some support. He's one of my good friends here on YouTube. So yeah, the weekly watch. Hopefully you guys have been enjoying these. Every week I try to keep it at 2 movies per day. And this week, we had Valentine's Day, which I have a couple here that I want to show you. But I did keep it at 2 movies per day. And the theme that I went with this week is Scream Factory Week. Now, what is Scream Factory? Those of you who don't know about, like horror companies or, companies that produce horror movies or they come out with certain titles that that are remastered, or they restore them and add special features, really cool slip covers, just really cool stuff. Scream Factory is one of my favorite companies out there, next to like Kino Lorber, Arrow Video and stuff like that. So what I did was I picked out a bunch of Scream Factory titles, and that's what I watched this week. 2 movies per week, nothing but Scream Factory titles. One of these days, I'm going to show my entire Scream Factory collection, and I'm not going to lie, I have a lot, okay? Like a couple stacks like this high, maybe 3 or 4 stacks this high full of Scream Factory releases in my cabinet upstairs. So that'll be a really cool video, but I hope you enjoy this one. So let's get started with Monday. I watched a classic here. It's every time I watch this movie, I love it more and more. It's directed by Rob Reiner, and it is Misery. You cock-a-doodie. You poop. Oh, now, Wally, why don't you give me a bag of that effing pea feed and some of that bitchly cow corn? And at the bank, do I tell Mrs. Bollinger, well, this is one big bastard of a check. Give me some of your Christing money? There, look there. See what you made me do? Oh, Paul, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Sometimes I just get so worked up. Yeah, no shit. Lost your marbles, lady. Anyway, this movie's great. Kathy Bates is so good in this. I mean, she, she's nice one minute, and then she just goes batshit crazy the other minute. It's like she's 2 different people. But the story, of course, you got Paul Sheldon, played by James Caan, who gets in an accident. She saves him, brings her, she brings him back to her place out in the middle of nowhere, takes care of him, but then he starts to see that she's not all there. She's crazy. There she is with the sledgehammer, that famous scene where she breaks his ankles, and yeah. This is, I love this movie. It's definitely a classic one. Scream Factory release, of course, with a slipcover and all that. It's got a bunch of special features, so went with that one. Now, the other one I watched on Monday is definitely in my top 10, maybe even my top 5 Stallone films, and it is Cobra. You want to go to hell? Huh? Huh, pig? You want to go to hell with me? It doesn't matter, does it? We are the hunters. We kill the weak, so the strong survive. You can't stop this new world. It's breeding them. We are the future. No. Your history. You won't do it, pig. You won't shoot. Murder is against the law. You have to take me in. If You can. Even I have rights, don't I? They'll say I'm insane. The court is civilized, isn't it? Pig. Yeah, but I'm not. This is where the law stops. And I start. Sucker. I freaking love these movies. God, I love them. When you can quote lines from them, what does that tell you? This movie is awesome. Basically about Cobra. Stallone plays Cobra, the last line of defense, where he basically takes down these armed bandits. These guys who basically go around killing people for no reason, just basically trying to start this like cult of like biker guys. And he takes them all on by himself. Hell, the third act, he makes Rambo look like a pussy. He really does. He's on the back of the truck, like mowing down these bikers, all by himself. He doesn't need nobody. This is an awesome Scream Factory release, and I got a bunch of special features there. I can't believe Scream Factory released this. I never thought they would, but yeah. So Tuesday, Valentine's Day. An overrated holiday, honestly. I mean, why do you need a holiday to express to your loved one that you love them? Shouldn't you do that every day? Shouldn't you wake up in the morning and say, I love you, honey? Vice versa. You shouldn't need a holiday to just say, well, I think I'm going to do something special for you today. Shouldn't that be every day? I don't know. It's just my opinion. Anyway, Valentine's Day, they kind of gouge you with the candy and the flowers and the teddy bears. I seen a teddy bear like this big out at Walmart for like $50. Are you kidding me? I can't even get that damn thing in my car. Anyway, so Valentine's Day, I watched a couple Scream Factory titles here, and what better movies to watch on Valentine's Day? So the first one is My Bloody Valentine. This is the original, yes, 1981. I love this movie. No matter how many times, Harry Warden, an awesome minor type killer, very different from anything we've had, especially in 1981. You never seen anything like it. It's got the new 4K scan of the original camera negative, some special features here. Scream Factory title, love My Bloody Valentine. Then I watched Valentine. Now, this came out in 2001. I remember seeing this in the theater. I love this movie. Now, when it comes to which one I prefer this one. And I'll tell you why. I love the cast. I love Marley Shelton. She's great. And that guy from Bones, I don't remember his name. But I love the movie. I love the killer with the Cupid mask. He reminds me of Michael Myers, but he uses different weapons. He uses a bow and arrow. He uses a kitchen knife. He uses a freaking iron. He basically burns this guy on the cheek, and then he wraps the cord around his hand. He beats him to death with an iron. Holy shit! I love this movie about Jeremy Melton who gets picked on, and then all of a sudden, he's at the dance in the beginning. He asks all these girls to dance with him, and then they all reject him. But when he gets older, he basically gets revenge on these girls for what. He basically got embarrassed and basically starts to kill them one by one. And you never find out who Jeremy Melton is until the end, which is a really nice twist. It kind of has that Scream vibe to it, but that's okay. I'm glad Scream Factory definitely picked this up. So those are the two movies I watched on Valentine's Day. So some people may be watching romantic movies, kissy, kissy, touchy, touchy, feely, feely, but not me. I watch stabby, stabby, killy, killy. I don't even know I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. All right, so Wednesday, I was kind of in a zombie mood. I wanted my zombie fix. So, Scream Factory titles. I watched The Return of the Living Dead, directed by Dan O'Bannon. Still one of the best. Still one of the best movies out there when it comes to zombies. Different take on zombies. Instead of eating flesh, they eat brains. So it was a nice little... It was a nice fresh take. I like the fact that the zombies in this, you really cannot kill them 100%. Because if you chop off an arm, the arm comes after you. If you chop off the head will still be alive. If you shoot him in the head or hit the brain, it doesn't do anything. If you try to burn them, all the trioxin chemicals will get into the air, and then it will get all over everything, and it's like a repeated cycle. It kind of makes it scary in that way. But I love these zombies. These guys are basically in this warehouse, and these chemicals get released into the air, goes all over the graveyard. All of a sudden, zombies start coming up from the graveyard because of these chemicals, and they want brains, and so they're trapped in this facility, in this kind of like morgue, and they have to try to find a way to escape. Really, really good film. A classic. I freaking love. I watched this movie at a young age. Let's see, what was it? 1985. I think the first time I saw it was in 1992. It was definitely early 90s. It was very early 90s. But then I watched the sequel. I watched The Return of the Living Dead Part 2, and also Scream Factory, of course. It didn't come with a slipcover, which I was kind of disappointed, but whatever. Got a bunch of special features. I remember renting this movie all the time from the video store, and I always loved the cover to it. Now, this is sort of like how I compare this movie. It's like a different take on it from this. It's like you got some of the same characters in this. Tom Matthews, of course, James Karen. Tom Matthews, they play different people in this. They play like grave robbers. And how I describe this movie is kind of like Evil Dead 2. It's like this movie kind of, I want to say it mocks the first one, but it's more of a comedy than it is anything else. Now, this one was funny. This one had some comedic moments in it, but this movie right here is total. It's a laugh fest. It really is a comedy. They're trying to push it as that. Like I said, a lot of the characters come back from the first one, but they play different characters. So that's how I compare it to Evil Dead 2. It just reminds me of that so much, but it's fun. This is a fun movie. I really like it. So Thursday, I decided to watch some creature features, some Scream Factory releases here. The first one is the 1976 King Kong. Now this is the very first King Kong movie that I ever saw. I saw this before the original 1930s, and this was the one that was on TV. This is the one that my dad had recorded on a VHS tape, like a blank VHS tape. And I still love this movie. I think King Kong looks awesome. The effects on his face, the animatronics that they use, and all that stuff. And he stands up. He's huge in this movie. He is really big. But I think this was like Jessica Lange's breakout role. I had a huge crush on her in this movie. She just looked beautiful. I mean, she still looks beautiful. I'm just saying. But Jeff Bridges is in this, and the story of King Kong. They go to the island. They take him off the island. He runs loose around the city, and instead of the Empire State Building in this movie, it's basically the Twin Towers. He like jumps on the Twin Towers. But very, very cool release from Scream Factory. Yeah, it's got the television cut on here as well. So I think that's the one that I saw the most, was the television cut, because like I said, my dad recorded it on a VHS tape from TV. So the other one I watched from Scream Factory here is, of course, Teen Wolf. Awesome film. This is a movie that I could watch over and over and over again. Forget Teen Wolf 2. Forget it. Okay, Michael J. Fox. This is definitely my top 5 Michael J. Fox films. Directed by Rod Daniel. Awesome movie. A lot of fun. I love the soundtrack. This has an amazing soundtrack and score to it. Basically, a kid who learns that he is a werewolf. His father's a werewolf, and he has to try to deal with it. But as a teenager, he's going through changes. He's trying to impress this girl while dealing with being a werewolf. I love the basketball scenes. I love the third act of this movie is really, really, I want to say inspirational. It's very, very good. Just an awesome movie. Scream Factory did a very good job with this, with a bunch of features here. So there's a documentary on here too about the development and making of the movie. So Teen Wolf. Okay, so Friday, I wanted to end it with some remakes, okay? Some horror remakes. So from Scream Factory here, the first one is the Blob remake. Yes, 1988. A lot of people, they just shit on this movie. I don't understand it. I really like this movie a lot. You got Shawnee Smith, of course. You know, she was in the Saw movies. You got Kevin Dillon. I think the effects are really good in this, and this kind of showcases the Blob in a more gorier fashion, like some of the stuff that happens to some of these people when the Blob gets a hold of them, basically, melts like their skin and stuff. Like it does different things, but it kind of, the original Blob is a classic, but it really does nowhere near as, it's not anywhere near as gory, or I want to say, like the special effects really show here, because they had, more resources. But yeah, this is definitely a good remake in my opinion. Scream Factory got a hold of it. So, and the last one is, everyone knows this. Everyone knows this. John Carpenter's The Thing. Yes, with Kurt Russell. Now, this movie came out the year I was born, and I call that a good omen, because this is one of the greatest remakes, if not one of the greatest horror films ever made, with some sci-fi elements. But don't forget the original. Never forget the original, okay? The original it's an amazing film. It's an amazing sci-fi adventure. It is awesome. But this one is really gory. But I love the effects in this. The effects look so good. Some of the weirdest kind of some of the weirdest looking creature effects that they had in this, with the face that's like upside down. Yeah, really, really good movie. Definitely one of John Carpenter's best. I would say I would put this probably in my top 5 favorite John Carpenter films for sure, as well as maybe top 10 Kurt Russell films, because, yeah, amazing. So, yeah, went with that. Just a quick recap for you guys. So, Monday, I decided to go with You Cock-a-Doodle, Misery, and Cobra. Tuesday, Valentine's Day, went with My Bloody Valentine 1981, and Valentine 2001. Wednesday, The Return of the Living Dead, and The Return of the Living Dead Part 2. Thursday, Creature Features, we got King Kong 1976, and Teen Wolf. Friday, some remakes, we got The Blob 1988, and 1982's The Thing, John Carpenter. Anyway, guys, that is my weekly watch right here. Scream Factory titles, Scream Factory week. So hope you enjoyed this. Stay tuned for next weekend when I release my next weekly watch. I'm not going to post what the theme will be. It might be random. It might be something to do with horror or action or comedy or 80s or 90s. It's going to be a surprise. So tune in for my next weekly watch. I'll see you guys in the next video.